Today we're going to speak about revenge. Revenge is sweet, so how come the Torah forbids revenge? So if you take a look at your source sheets on side number 1 with the Peanuts cartoon. Here's a Peanuts cartoon there on side number 1. Sinat chinam. Source number 1. Mishnah and Tainit, side number 1, source number 1, Mishnah and Tainit. 5 tragedies took place on Shivas B'Tammuz, and 5 tragedies took place when? On Tisha B'Av. What happened on Tisha B'Av? That's coming up. B'Tisha B'Av nigzar alav ateinu shlo yichonzol aretz. Tisha B'Av, the Meraglim came back with the evil report, and there was decreed that the Jewish people will not enter the land, they'll have to die out in the Midbar. The first and the second temple were both destroyed on Tisha B'Av. The city of Beitar, 60 years after the Chorban Bayis Sheni, Bar Kokhba led a rebellion against Rome, and it was crushed, and its capital Beitar was destroyed, and the city was what? Plowed under. All these tragedies took place on Tisha B'Av. It's a day that has negative karma for the Jewish people, unfortunately. So we're on side number 1, we're in the source where it says Bavli Yuma. You see it says Bavli Yuma? There's a check there. Migdash Rishon B'nei Ma'achorav. Why was the first temple destroyed? B'nei Gimel Devarim Shahoyabah. Because in the first temple, the Jewish people committed the 3 cardinal sins, which is Avodah Zarah, worshipping idols, Gili Arayot, sexual immorality, V'shvichas Damim, and murder. Those are the 3 cardinal sins. Shvichas damim means murder. Murder doesn't just mean physical murder. It also means killing me softly with words, killing me softly, or lashon hara, and character assassination. Aval migdash sheni, but the second temple, shoyoskim b'torah mitzvahs. The second temple, the Jewish people were studying Torah, doing mitzvot and chesed. B'nei Ma'achorav. Why was it destroyed? B'nei shehoyta bo sinat chinam. Because in the second temple, even though they were not committing the 3 cardinal sins of what? Murder, or sexual immorality, and what? Idolatry, but they were committing what? Sinat chinam. So the Talmud makes an amazing statement. Lamdecha sheshkula sinat chinam Keneget sholot averos avodah zarah gili arayot v'shvichas damim. The sin of sinat chinam is equal in severity to the 3 cardinal sins. Doesn't seem to make any sense. The first temple was destroyed for the 3 cardinal sins, the worst sins. And that exile only lasted what? 70 years. After 70 years, we came back and we built the second temple. And the second temple, they were not doing the 3 cardinal sins. They were only doing sinat chinam. And that exile is not 70 years, Rose. How long is it? 1949 years, I think. We're now in the year 2017. The Chorban happened in the year 68. 2017 minus 68 is 1949 years. So how could sinat chinam be worse than the 3 cardinal sins? For the 3 cardinal sins, the exile was only 70 years. And sinat chinam, it's close to 2,000 years. How could that be? So the Chafetz Chaim explains, the 3 cardinal sins, everybody knows that it's a sin. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So after 70 years, Golda, they came back to their senses. Who doesn't know that promiscuity is wrong? So they did tshuva. After 70 years, they did tshuva, so they came back. But sinas chinam is so destructive, said the Chafetz Chaim. You don't realize it's wrong. The Yetzer Hara says, that Jew, it's a mitzvah to hate him. So the sin, I think it's called self-perpetuating. You don't even realize it's a sin. Satan tells you it's a mitzvah to hate that Jew. He has the wrong kippah, no kippah, wrong hashkafa. So you'll never do tshuva. You just keep on what? Sinning. So close to 2,000 years, we still can't get out of the rut. Sinat chinam. What does sinat chinam mean? Anybody know what it means? Sinat chinam?
It's like free hatred.
Free hatred. Chinam doesn't mean baseless. The word chinam means free. So what does that mean? Free hatred. Does anybody hate anybody for no reason? Even the biggest meshugana is not going to hate somebody for no, even a crazy reason.
At least he thinks.
Right?
Yeah.
Sinat chinam means you hate the guy, and you might have a reason, but it's free. You get nothing back in return except a bad hair day. It's like a guy that you can't stand. You allow him to live inside your head rent-free. You're obsessed with the guy. You hate him. What do you get out of it? Frustration, aggravation. You're letting the guy live inside your head and take over your life rent-free. Evict him from your head. Rachmin, how do you evict him? Stop hating him. Stop hating him. Nachon? That's how you evict him. Now, if you take a look, the Torah forbids revenge and what? Bearing a grudge. The question is why. But before we get to the why, if you look at the Peanuts cartoon, you also see the Peanuts cartoon? Remember Peanuts? Anybody want to read that cartoon?
Why would you do if I kicked it over? Lucy and...
Lucy's telling Charlie Brown.
No, it's Linus. It's not Charlie Brown.
It's not Charlie Brown?
It's brother Linus.
It's Linus.
It's her brother Linus.
What do you do if I kick... Yeah?
It's probably nothing at the moment because she's threatening him.
Right.
And this is right to the dot. To today's dot.
Right.
Tell me, but years from now, after you're married and you want your husband, want me to co-sign a loan for you, just like today's dot.
Right.
So you can buy a new house. I won't sign the loan.
I'll refuse.
And the little boy says, your younger brother, you have to learn to think fast.
Younger brothers learn to think fast. So what is that? Is that revenge or is that bearing a grudge? Manyamin, what is that? That's bearing a grudge. That's also not Beseder. So the question is why? So sinat chinam, it's self-perpetuating. The person will never do tshuva because Satan tells him it's not a sin. It's a mitzvah to hate that guy.
But what about your enemies?
We're not up to there yet. Don't rush me. All right? We're not there yet. First of all, Eicha. If Mashiach doesn't come on Tuesday, next Tuesday, or Monday night, the following, we'll be reading Eicha. If you look at Eicha Chava, you'll see that Yirmiyahu wrote it in chronological order. Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet. The Psukim follow the Aleph, Beis. But when he gets to the Pei and the Ayin, he reverses the order. You look at the Eicha, it follows the Aleph Beis. When he gets to the Pei and the Ayin, what comes first? Ayin comes before Pei. But here he puts the Pei before the Ayin. He breaks his Aleph Beis rule, Yirmiyahu does. Why? Gemara Sanhedrin says why. So Gemara Sanhedrin says something incredible. The temple was destroyed for sinat chinam. They put the Pei before the Ayin. Even though the Ayin comes before the Pei, Yirmiyahu says the Chorban happened, they put the Pei before the Ayin. What's the Pei? Peh, their mouth.
Before their eye.
They shut off their mouth before they gave the Ayin. They slandered the people before they even looked at them. What?
That was the second temple destroyed.
Right, that was second temple. Yirmiyahu, he's prophesizing both. Don't mix me up. He says, Chet chata Yerushalayim. Chet chata. Sharona, why? Double. He's prophesizing by his Rishon, and he's prophesizing by his Sheni. And the Chorban by his Sheni is much worse, because Chorban by his Rishon only lasted 70 years. This is 70 years. This is 1949 years. So Yirmiyahu, the Gemara Sanhedrin, is telling me the second temple was destroyed and we're still in the Galut because they put the Pei before the Ayin. They slandered and they motzi shember on people before they really looked at the person. Isn't that incredible? You have to be Melamed Chus on all Yidden. The problem was that they opened their mouth before they gave the Ayin Tovah. You have to give every Jew an Ayin Tovah. but they opened up their peh before they were stakel and ayin tova. That caused sinat chinam, says Yirmiyahu. Therefore, he puts the peh before the ayin. That was the sin. So before we open up our mouth to speak lashon hara against a fellow Jew, let's look at him, each Jew with an ayin tova, and not rush to judgment. And not rush to judgment. There's an incredible Chafetz Chaim, I couldn't repeat this, Chafetz Chaim says, in Pashas Mishpatim, the Torah tells us, Al toshes yotcha im rasha liot eit chamas. Don't give your hand to the Rasha to become an eit chamas. What does eit chamas mean? A witness for Hamas.
For hatred, for a witness for hatred.
Pashas Mishpatim, Exodus 23.
And robbery.
Al toshes yotcha im rasha. Don't give your hand to the Rasha to be an eit chamas, to be a witness of terror and violence. Says the Chafetz Chaim, who's the Rasha? Satan. Satan is always looking to badmouth and terrorize Jewish people. But Satan is only one witness. In Jewish law, you need two to tango. Says the Chafetz Chaim HaKadosh, Al toshes yotchem Rasha. If you slander a fellow Jew, you are in cahoots with the Rasha. Who's the Rasha? Satan. Becoming an eit Hamas. Becoming a witness for Hamas. Chafetz Chaim says that. Don't join him to slander and speak negatively about any Jew. Otherwise, you're joining the Rasha and becoming an eit Hamas, a witness for Hamas. So says the holy Chafetz Chaim. So says the Chafetz Chaim. In the Haftarah that we didn't read this past Shabbos, Eliyahu Novi begins to slander the Jewish people. He says they've left the bris. God fires him. God doesn't want to hear anything negative about any Jew. And therefore, on the holiest day of the year, the Kohen Gadol, when he walks into the Holy of Holies, he's wearing Bigdei Lavan. When he walks out of the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippur, he's wearing Bigdei Zav. Why doesn't he wear Bigdei Zav in the Holy of Holies? In the Holy of Holies, it's Lifnei Hashem. In front of God, he only has to what? Wear white. When he's facing God, representing the Jewish people, he says we're all lily white. When he comes out of the base, Kodesh HaKadoshim, then he puts on Bigdei Zav. Bigdei Zav reminds us of what? Of the golden calf disco, which is the granddaddy of all sin. Listen to the symbolism here. When he's in front of God in the Holy of Holies, he's only wearing white, Rachmiel. The Jewish people, when he's speaking to God, they're pure white in front of God. When he comes out of the Holy of Holies, and the Jewish people see him in the temple courtyard, then he puts on Bigdei Zav. Because when you're speaking to the Jews, you have to tell them in the Pupikarain. But when you're speaking about Jews to somebody else, only Bigdei Lavan. What a powerful message. Not Bigdei Zav. And because Eliyahu Novi didn't do that, he got fired. God says, you got something to say to the Jews, you tell it to them. When you're speaking to God about the Jews, only what? Accent the positive and don't focus on the negative. Eliyahu Novi didn't do that. Rashi says he got fired. Kings 1, chapter 18. You have to be Malavet Chus on all Yidden. The women on the wall, they come to the kotel and they put on talis and tefillin. You have to be Malavet Chus on them, I'll tell you. Their husbands don't wear talis and tefillin. The husbands don't go to the kotel and daven. So they figure, Chava ishta kigufoi. Of course, they're wrong, but they think that since in halacha, ishta kigufa, how do you say that in English? A person's wife is like what? His own body. So Nebuch, their husbands don't wear talis and tefillin, don't daven by the kotel. So the women figure, Masha, we'll put on talis and tefillin and daven at the kotel, and this way we'll be moitzi our husbands. Of course, it's wrong, but Yosef, they mean well. We have to be malamed zchus on all Jews. And therefore the Mishnah says, have they done kala adam lekaf zchut? There's an extra heyday Yehuda. The Mishnah in Perek Aleph in Avos says, judge every person lekaf zchut. It doesn't say that. It says, have they done kol ha'adam? With a hey ayidiyah. There's a superfluous hey there. Why is it there? We're quick to judge people when we look at the part that we don't like. But if you judge kala adam, if you see the person in his entirety, you don't just focus what? On his negative qualities, then you'll see there's a lot of schus there. The Gemara in the Chagiga at the end says that the worst Jew has as many mitzvot as a pomegranate has what? Seeds. Should I repeat that, Chava? The end of Masechta Chagiga tells us that the worst Jew has as many mitzvot as a pomegranate has seeds. So therefore the Mishnah says, Don kala adam. When you see the entire person with the hey ayidiyah, you'll see that he has a lot of merit. If we focus on the entire person, not just on what? His faults. And therefore, the word machlokes, comes from the word chavachelik. Why are you engaged in the machlokes? Because you only see a chelik. What does that mean? A part of the entire picture. You only focus on that part of the person that you don't like, on his negative qualities. If you would see him in his entirety, not just focus on that chelik that you don't like, you see he's not such a bad person at all. Wow. Machlokes chelik. You focus on the part that you don't like, you only see a part of him. But if you focus on his entirety, every Jew has as many mitzvot as what? The worst Jew. Chagiga says that. There's so much more that unites us than what? Divides us. So Yirmiyahu and Eicha, he put the pay before the ayin. We slander, we speak against people before we even look at him really. He has so many good qualities, but no. We're focused on his chelik, the machlokes, the part that we can't stand. Don kala adam lekaf zchus. There's so much more that unites us than what? Than divides us. It's just a question, Elishev, of perspective. What do you want to see in your neighbor? What are you looking for? Accent the positive and not the negative. Now, Tisha B'Av is coming up. The Rambam tells us there's a mitzvah from the book of Zechariah 8 to fast on Tisha B'Av. Zechariah chapter 8, mitzvah for Nevi'im to fast on Tisha B'Av. Bipnei hatzorot. You don't have it on your sheet, Chava. The Rambam in Hilchas Tainus says with the mitzvah to fast on Tisha B'Av from the book of Zechariah, Bipnei hatzorot. Which tzorot? So Rambam says not just from 1949 years ago. The present tzorot, the present terrorism. Kidei la'oreh l'tshuva. The purpose of the fast is to wake one up for tshuva, says Rambam. Ki eina ikar hatainis. You ask anybody, what's the main mitzvah on Tisha B'Av Zisol, they'll tell you what? The Rambam disagrees with you. The Rambam in Hilchas Tainus says, Ki ein ha'ikar hatainis. The ikar is not the fasting. The fasting is only the catalyst to make you do tshuva. Why is that? It's hard to do tshuva with a salami sandwich in your mouth. Or a shawarma in your mouth. So when you're fasting, it helps you focus on what? The neshama. To do tshuva. So the Rambam says, Ki ein ikar hatainit. How does the Rambam know the ikar of Tisha B'Av is not to fast? Shenema, the Rambam quotes a pasuk in the book of Yonah. Vayar Elokim, they were fasting. The Ninevanites. Remember Yonah told them, 40 days your Hiroshima, remember? It says, God saw, Ki shovu midachechem hara. It doesn't say that God saw their fasting, even though they fasted. Ki shovu midarkem hara. God saw that they what? They changed their evil ways. Yehuda, change your evil ways. God didn't look at their fasting. He saw that they changed their evil ways, and therefore he accepted their tshuva. So the purpose of Tisha B'Av is to get us to do tshuva. If you're just fasting, you're missing the point. Of course, you have to fast. But the fasting should lead a person, Benjamin, to, I think it's called introspection or soul searching. Soul searching. I'm a soul man. So we have to be melamed zchus on all Jews. And that's the way we free ourselves of sinat chinam, of hatred for free. You hate the guy, you get nothing in return. Just ulcers and obsession. You're letting him live inside your head for free. How do you evict him? Stop hating him. Why should he live inside your head for free? Evict him. So why is revenge, it's so sweet, why is it what? Prohibited. Madua balama. So if you turn over your sheet to side number, why is it prohibited to what? To take revenge. So this is, you see, Reish Mem Aleph, this is from the Sefer HaChinuch. Reish Mem Aleph, Shelo Linkom, not to take revenge. So how come King David says in Psalm 18, Mikimia, Ha'el hanotein nekomoisli, I praise God who gives revenge for me. Didn't King David know that taking revenge is what? Against the Torah? So how come he says in Psalm 18, Ha'el hanotein nekomoisli, I'm praising God who gives me the sweet taste of what? Revenge. Didn't King David know Sefer HaChinuch and the Rambam? So what's the answer?
Maybe it was against Moab.
Make a look. Reish Mem Aleph, Shalol Linkom. Nuchava, Shalol Linkom. Mitzvah Reish Mem Aleph. The mitzvah count, this is from the Sefer HaChinuch, Shalol Linkom. Kolomar, we are, what does Kolomar mean? In other words, Shenamninu melakachas nekama. What's the next word, Yehuda? Huh? Mi-Yisrael. Against Abu Mamzer, you're supposed to take nekama. The Yisra is only Mi-Yisrael. So therefore, King David praised God that you allow me to take nekama against what? The PLO. Our so-called peace partners. The Yisra is only not to take nekama against a fellow Jew. But why? Elishev, it's so sweet. Why can't I take nekama against a fellow Jew? Why?
What happens when you have a Jew who doesn't like his own people?
Who acts like an enemy?
In the world today.
What?
What do you do with them?
Stay tuned. Well, stay tuned. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Yosef, you anticipated the punchline. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Ve'inyan hu kigon Yisrael. Again, not Abu Mamzer. You see Yehuda says kigon Yisrael? A Jew who did bad to you, sheheira tzia lechaver bechem b'kol advarim. V'noyeg rov b'nei adam sheba'olam. And the vast majority of human beings, when someone does something against them, He will not rest until what? He'll search the end of the world until he gets nekama. Until he pays him back for his evil deeds. Or he pains him like he pained me. Kodesh Baruch Hu told us, lo tikom. Lo tikom, do not take revenge. Veloshin sifra, adhechen koichon shal nekama. Someone says, lend me your lawnmower, and what? And you say, I refuse. Tomorrow you come to him and you say, can you lend me your toaster oven? You say what? I'm not going to lend you the way you didn't want to lend me. That's called lo sikom, not taking revenge. But why? He did me dirty. Why can I not return the favor? This is the key to the whole Jewish religion. Misharshei ha-mitzvah. You see that, Yehuda, the second paragraph? Misharshei ha-mitzvah. What does that mean? The root of the mitzvah. Why can't you take revenge? Yeda adam yiten alibo. Every person has to what? In English you say inculcate this principle. Ki kol ashikro mitol vara. Whatever happens to a person in this world, whether it's good or evil, hu siba shetovay olav me'es Hashem baruch hu. Whatever happens to a person, you're having a bad hair day, who's responsible? Hashem is responsible. Umiyad adam, umiyad ish achiv, from the hand of a human being in the hand of your brother, lo yeh davar bilti rotzain Hashem baruch hu. No one can harm a hair on your head unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu what? Allowed it or decreed it. Say what? Al kain, therefore, when a person gives you a bad hair day, causes you pain and anguish, yeda b'nafsho. Guy's causing you pain and anguish. Yeda b'nafsho. You have to know in your soul, ki avanosav garmu. Why am I having this bad hair day? My sins caused it. Vashem yisbarach gozer bekach. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu decreed that this guy would what? Give me a bad hair day. Or cause me what? Pain and anguish. V'lo yoshis machshavosav linkoy mimenu. And therefore, you shouldn't plot to take revenge against him. Ki hu einoi sibas v'otoi. That guy is not your problem. You're the problem. That guy is only a UPS driver. UPS? FedEx? Who's the problem? The guy in the mirror. Ki ovein ha-mesavev. The sin that I did caused me to get this aggravation. This guy who's doing it, he's just what? A messenger boy. How do we know that? Kamoi shama David olav Avshalom. Remember, King David was fleeing. His son caused a rebellion, Avshalom. King David was fleeing from the capital. Shimi ben Gera, a relative of Shaul HaMelech, his rival, began to curse the king. You SOB, you lowlife, you deserve it, David. So King David's bodyguard said, let me make him a head shorter. So what did King David say? No. Hanicholo, leave him alone, v'yikalel. Leave him alone and let him curse, ki omer lo Hashem. God told him to curse. Did God tell Shimi ben Gera to curse King David? Never. But no one can harm a hair on your head unless God ordained it, decreed it, or allowed it. So King David says, it's my fault. I'm getting this aggravation from Shimi ben Gera because of my sins. He's just a messenger boy. And therefore, I'm not going to punish him. Now, it doesn't mean Shimi ben Gera is not going to get punished by God for what? For cursing the king. But I cannot take revenge. It's up to God to take revenge, up to Sanhedrin to take revenge, the Bezdin, but not me. God will settle up with him, but not me. You hear what's going on over here? It's pretty incredible. So what is the Sefer Chinuch telling us? What is the Sefer Chinuch telling us? And in this week's parasha, as Mikimya mentioned, God says, take revenge against the Midianites. Take revenge against the Midianites. They call Nikmas B'nai Yisrael. And then Moshe says, take revenge for God. One place, take revenge for Israel, take revenge for God. So Rashi says, anyone that spills Jewish blood, you're taking revenge for Israel, you're taking revenge for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's against non-Jews. But against a fellow Jew, you're not allowed to take revenge. Because he is only what? A fellow Jew is only what? A messenger. A non-Jew, take revenge. But against a fellow Jew, no. So the question is, how far does this go? I think Yosef was bothered by that. When is it revenge and when is it self-defense? When is it revenge, when is it self-defense? So if you look at the next Sefer Chinuch, the next one, you see that? Shaloi lahoinos b'dvarim. There's a law in the Torah not to cause pain and anguish through verbal abuse. To verbally abuse a fellow Jew is a negative commandment. Sefer Chinuch. You see that, Yehuda? There's a check there?
Yes, the bottom of the page.
V'ulam, lefi hadomeh, ein b'mashma, she'im ba Yisrael echad v'hitchil v'yishia l'tzar chaver b'dvarim arayim. Yosef bothered with that. Does that mean if a fellow Jew begins to abuse me or attack me, I'm supposed to be a shmata? What? While the person is attacking me, I must defend myself. But after the incident, then it's called revenge. After the incident, have to go to the police, go to Besdin. While it's happening, that's not called revenge. What's that called, Zisel? Self-defense.
That's why Pinchas had to do it while they were...
That's right. That's called self-defense. Someone comes to attack you, get up and what?
Kill him first.
Kill him first. Turn the other cheek. That's the wrong religion. Someone is attacking you, physically or verbally, you're supposed to defend yourself. Afterwards, the attack is over. Once the attack is over, then you can't be Charles Bronson. Remember him, the vigilante? You have to go to the police and seek justice. Now, getting back to this Sefer Chinuch, that anyone who causes you pain and anguish, a Jewish person, he's just God's messenger. That means he'll be absolved. Shoot the messenger. What? Person doesn't have free will? There's a problem here, Chava. There's a problem here. We know Hakol b'dei Shemayim chutz miyirat Shemayim. Everything is what? In the hands of God, except the fear of God. God never told Shimi ben Gera to curse David. But if he's cursing David, that means God allowed it. Shimi will be punished by God or by Sanhedrin. For cursing the king, Sanhedrin can execute you. But King David is not going to do it. Privately, that's called revenge. So if Shimi ben Gera would not have cursed King David, isn't Shimi ben Gera a free agent? Didn't have to curse King David, right? So where does free will and preordained come in? There's a mitzvah in the Torah when you build a house or you buy an apartment and you have a roof, or you have a porch, you're supposed to put what? A fence. Why? Ki yipol hanofel mimenu. It says the one who's destined to fall is going to fall. So Rashi wonders, why do I have to spend $1,200 on a fence on my roof, on my porch? This guy is destined to fall. The Mishnah Rosh Hashanah Yosef says in Rosh Hashanah it's written down who will live and who will die and how he'll die. So this guy in Rosh Hashanah it's recorded that what? He's going to fall off a roof. So why do I have to spend $1,200 for a fence on my roof? Ki yipol hanofel. The one who's destined to fall is going to fall. So Rashi says, yes, he has to fall, but not on my roof. Let him fall off of Abu Mamza's roof. When God has a good package to deliver, who does he choose? A good person to deliver the package. When God has a punishment to deliver, who does God choose? A wicked person. The righteous person, the wicked person still have free will to refuse the mission. But the opportunities that you get in life is reflected on what? On my behavior. If I'm a good person, a righteous person, God will send me good opportunities to do. You'll have free will what? To reject them. If a person is a rasha, if you lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Person's a rasha, then God will send him evil missions. He's still a free agent not to accept it.
But Ash was a good person. Why did he get the job that we learned this morning? Why did Ash get the bad job?
Well, that's a whole different issue, but I don't want to mix in with that now. But anyway, let's get in what we're talking about over here. There's another pasuk in Tehillim 58. Yismach tzadik ki chazanakam. King David says in Tehillim 58, the righteous person rejoices when he sees what? Revenge. But that's against the PLO, not against a fellow Jew. King David in Psalm 58. Yismach tzadik ki chazanakam. The tzaddik rejoices when he sees the IDF take revenge against our peace partners, but not against a fellow Jew. Not against a fellow Jew. Because he's a messenger. He's still a free agent, didn't have to deliver that package. So let's say if Shimon ben Gera would not have decided to curse King David. My free will can only affect me. This is the key to the Jewish religion. Every person has free will. My free will can only affect me. Not the one I hurt. Should I repeat that, Golda? My free will can only affect me, not the one I hurt. If I choose not to curse King David, or if I choose not to give that guy a bad hair day, I could choose that way. That guy would get the tsar anyway. He'd get the tsar through another UPS driver. King David had to get that anguish of being cursed because he committed sins, whatever the sins were, King David. He's the Mashiach, despite his sins or because of his sins and he did tshuva. Mashiach has to identify. Mashiach will save all mankind, not just the goody two-shoes. Mashiach will save even the sinners. So Mashiach had to be a sinner, Yosef. Otherwise, how could he save the sinners? Mashiach is going to save all mankind. Look at the book of Isaiah. Not just the Jewish people. Every person. That includes sinners too. If King David was not a sinner, how could he relate to sinners and redeem them? So therefore he had to sin and do tshuva. David did. But he had to get this anguish. If Shivi ben Gera would have chosen not to what? Curse him. So all the Rishonim say David would have had another bad hair day. He would have stubbed his toe or broken his leg in the shower, falling down a flight of stairs. That guy would get the tsar through another UPS driver. Harbe shluchim lamakim. Chava, what does that mean? Harbe shluchim lamakim. God has many UPS drivers. God has many messenger service. If Shimi wouldn't have done it, someone else would have done it. Or David would have had, what? A bad hair day. Where do we see this? Chava, please hear me well. When Cain killed his brother Hevel, God confronted him. You know what Cain said?
I don't know.
He said, God, it's your fault. What do you want from me? Hashem ochi anoichi. Cain knew the Sefer Chinuch. Hashem ochi anoichi. Nothing can move without you, God. No one can move a muscle without you, God. If you wanted Hevel to be alive, he'd what? He'd be alive. If he's dead, I'm your messenger boy. What do you want from me? Cain was no dummy, Benjamin. God, it's your fault. No one can move a muscle. Everything is controlled by him. We say, Isaiah, Yotza Ora Borech Hoshech, Oishe Sholom Borei Ra. Ani Hashem Osakol Ele. God says, I create good, and I also create evil. Isaiah 45. Ani Hashem Osakol Ele. So Cain said, God, Evelyn, what do you want from me? If Hevel is dead, you wanted him dead. I'm your UPS driver. What did God say to him? Wrong. Yes, I wanted Hevel dead. But if you killed him, you're a murderer. Hevel had to die. But God said he could have died in a skiing accident. Remember Sonny Bono?
Oh, yeah.
Sonny and Cher, not a joke. He skied right into a tree. Sonny Bono. He skied right into a tree. That's how he died. So God said, I wanted Hevel dead. Like Sonny Bono. He would have died anyway. You killed him, you're a murderer. Deliver good packages for me. Don't deliver bad packages for me. You're a murderer. Yes?
I want you to know I work for UPS in New York. I delivered a lot of packages, but nothing with death. Nothing like that.
Nothing with death.
Packages.
What did Sonny Bono do that was so bad?
He must have done something.
What?
Must have done something. There are no accidents. Please hear me well, Yoel. People can die through an accident, but never by accident. Should I repeat that, Rose? People can die through an accident, but never by accident. Maybe it's a Gilgal. We don't know. We don't know God's cheshbonot. We're not here the first time. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because the good people now, they're recycled. God's in the recycling business or the soul repair business. We're not here the first time. Deja vu. We've been here many times. Many times. The great Nachmanides says, how do you explain the death and suffering of an innocent child? I had a 10-year-old child who suffered and died. How do you explain that? Says the great Nachmanides, the only explanation is what? Reincarnation. Reincarnation. Person comes down to do a tikkun. Some people take 100 years to do a tikkun. and my child needed 10 years to do his tikkun. And when the tikkun is over, beam me up, Scotty. No reason to stick around. We're here to do our tikkun. We don't realize that. The Zohar says this entire world is a humongous hospital. And we come down here to get cured. But the paradox is that the cure of the soul is what? The suffering of the body. Shall I repeat that? See the paradox? The Zohar Kodosh. We all come down here to get cured, a gigantic hospital. But the paradox is that the cure of the soul is the suffering of the body. So when the person gets his cure, he doesn't... so everything is with a cheshbon.
That's the problem. I can't find the right room in the hospital.
Find room in the hospital, right? Everyone has their tikkun. Some people takes 100 years, some people takes 10 years. Nebuch. We're all here to do our tikkun. We only see a chelik. We only see a tiny piece of the puzzle. We don't see the entire. We don't see the entire what? Picture. We can't. But looking from the perspective of eternity, God sees the entire picture. Therefore, for him, past, present, and future is what? It's all the same. That's what his name means. Beinish. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Haya, Hove, V'yeh. He always was. He always is. Always will be. He sees the entire picture. To him, past, present, and future is all the same. There is a plan, Ray. Things are going according to plan. Not my plan, but his plan. So therefore, it doesn't pay to take revenge against a fellow Jew. He is not the problem. The Gemara in Chulin says, a person does not stub his toe down here unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu what? Decreed that this guy, Yankel Shmerel, on Thursday afternoon on King George at 2:30 is going to stub his toe. Right on the sidewalk. What? The Chafetz Chaim says something incredible. According to Kabbalah, you know, you look at the Sefer Yecheskel, God's chariot. God's chariot, God's throne. A chariot and a throne has 4 wheels, right? 4 legs, heavenly throne. Who are the 4 legs, Kaviyachol, that carry God's throne? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and David. When did David become the Regel Revi? Says the Chafetz Chaim HaKadosh. God's chariot only had 3 wheels. 3 wheels. When did King David become the Regel Revi? You think when he wrote the most beautiful Psalms? When he didn't take revenge against Shimi ben Gera. When he stifled himself. Ooh, I want to get that guy. He didn't take revenge when he could have. That's when he became the 4th wheel in God's heavenly chariot. So says the Chafetz Chaim. So you want to take revenge against a fellow Jew, and you don't, you're becoming God's chariot. Chafetz Chaim, not me. But against a fellow Jew, against a non-Jew. This week's Parsha, God commands the IDF to take revenge against the PLO. I mean Midian and Moab. And the Torah calls it Nikmas B'nai Yisrael, and the Torah calls it Nikmat Hashem. Make up your mind. Is it revenge for the Jews, or is it revenge for God? What does Rashi say?
Yes.
It's one and the same. Rashi says it's one and the same. Hope Abu Mamzer is listening. This week's Parsha, She'omed Keneged Yisrael, anyone who raises a hand against an Israelite, Ki'ilu Omed Neged Hashem, he raises a hand against God himself. This week's Parsha, Yoel. What?
Quick, just clarification.
Go ahead.
If PLO is extinct, right? It's the Palestinian.
I mean our peace partners.
You're talking about the Palestinian.
I'm speaking about Amalek,
Right.
who hate us more than they love their own children. What am I talking about? This murderer who killed this police lady 2 weeks ago, right? And the murderer who killed the 2 policemen on Friday, the mothers both said, wish we had more children to get killed to kill Israelis. That means they hate us more than they love their own children. That's who you're dealing with. They asked the poor mother in the tent, what do you think? Oh, she's proud of her dead terrorist son. Halavai, all of her children would get themselves killed if that's what it takes to what? To murder Jews. So that's who you're dealing with. That's Midian, that's Moab. They hate us more than they love their own children. For them, it's a mitzvah to take revenge, because you're taking revenge for God. This week's Parsha, Sonia, Kawinky Dinky, Parsha of the week, always speaks to what? To what's going on in Israel. It's just incredible, right? The Torah tells in the Parshas Mishpatim, someone commits homicide, God made it happen. God made it happen. He had free will not to kill him. But this guy, if this guy wouldn't have killed him, he would have died some other way. That's what God told Cain. Yes, Hevel had to die, because nothing can happen without me. But you didn't have to kill him. I wanted him to die in a skiing accident. You killed him, you're a murderer, and you're responsible. So all of us have free will to do the right thing. You know the story. It's not a joke. The Mendez brothers, about 20 years ago, they shotgunned their parents to death. And then the judge said, what do you want? They're orphans. The lawyer, slicha. The lawyer said, I got a mistrial. They're never poor orphans. What do you want from them? The lawyer said it. It was a mistrial.
But then someone said.
What? Someone said what?
Well, they made themselves orphans, so why should we?
But they're orphans now.
So what?
So they threw themselves in the mercy of the court. We're poor orphans now. Oh, they're still in jail? I thought it was a mistrial.
No, they were convicted.
They were convicted?
Yeah.
Oh, but they're true, they were orphans. You know.
So that's what I'm saying. So the snake says, what do you want from me when they buy someone? I'm a snake.
I'm a snake. I can't help myself. The scorpion, you know, the scorpion and the what?
Frog.
The frog? That's what I do. That's what Abu Mamzer does. I mean, they can't help themselves. Can't help myself.
Well,
right?
Your colleague.
I can't stop murdering you.
Because I'm an Arab.
Because I'm an Arab, right? The Parab made the Chafetz Chaim, Rose HaKadosh. I pointed out to Reuven Zechariah Lavacha many times. In Hebrew, you would say Adam Pere. Chafetz Chaim in Hebrew. Adam Pere. A human being who's a savage. That's what it says about Yishmael. But it doesn't say that. It says Pere Adam. Says the Chafetz Chaim over 100 years ago. When did he die? In 1933? Over 100 years ago, he said, by Yishmael, by the Islamic terrorist, the savage comes before the human. It's not Adam Pere, it's Pere Adam. That's not Hebrew.
Well, yes, it is, but.
It's not Ilpan 103, Chafetz Chaim. You speak about Abu Mamzer and company. The savage comes before the human being. How did the Chafetz Chaim know that 100 years ago? Just because he wears a three-piece suit doesn't make him any less than a savage. Chafetz Chaim said, beware of Yishmael. Who are you negotiating with? Who are you making concessions to? Who they hate us more than they love their own children. They willingly sacrifice their children to murder Jews. And the mother's proud of it and not ashamed to say it. in the morning tent. That's what they tell the reporters. At least they're honest. They're honest. Any questions, comments? Thursday, 2 o'clock, current events in the Haftorah. Thank you.